When people talk about the 1970s, they call it the golden age of cars. Big engines, loud exhausts, American dominance. But here's the truth nobody likes to admit. The 1970s also produced some of the most disappointing, unreliable, and poorly engineered cars ever sold to the public. Cars that looked powerful, but weren't. Cars that promised innovation, but delivered breakdowns. Cars that owners regretted the moment the warranty expired. Some of these vehicles didn't just fail mechanically, they failed morally. Today, we're exposing the ugly reality behind 10 iconic 1970s cars, and why nostalgia hides the damage they caused. If you love classic cars, this video might hurt. Why the 1970s went wrong. Before we start blaming individual cars, we need context. The 1970s hit the auto industry with new emissions laws, safety regulations, oil crises, rising fuel prices, corporate cost-cutting. Manufacturers panicked. Instead of redesigning cars properly, many brands rushed engines to market, choked performance to meet emissions, used cheaper materials, treated buyers like test subjects. The result? Cars that looked great on posters and fell apart in real life. Let's start with number 10. 1974 Ford Mustang II. The Mustang that betrayed its name. The Mustang used to mean freedom, speed, rebellion. Then Ford introduced the Mustang II. This car wasn't just disappointing, it was insulting. Built on the Pinto platform, the Mustang II lost its muscle car identity, lost performance, lost the respect of enthusiasts. At launch, there was no V8 option. Acceleration was slow. Handling was uninspiring. Owners described it as a rental car with a Mustang badge. Yes, it sold well, but only because buyers had no better options during fuel shortages. The Mustang II didn't evolve the Mustang. It survived by shrinking it. Number 9. 1976 Chevrolet Vega. GM's rushed disaster. The Chevy Vega was supposed to be the future. Instead, it became a warning label. GM rushed this car into production to compete with imports. Corners were cut everywhere. The aluminum engine block, overheated, warped easily, failed catastrophically. Owners faced blown head gaskets, oil consumption, engines dying before 60,000 miles. Rust was so aggressive that some Vegas showed corrosion before being sold. The Vega didn't just hurt customers, it destroyed trust in GM's engineering. Number 8. 1971 Plymouth Satellite. Big, slow, and outdated overnight. 11 to 1430. The Plymouth Satellite looked tough, but beneath the sheet metal, a car stuck in the past. It was heavy, underpowered, inefficient. As gas prices skyrocketed, Satellite owners felt trapped. Fuel economy was awful. Performance was disappointing. Reliability was inconsistent. Chrysler didn't modernize the Satellite. They just downsized expectations. It wasn't a terrible car. It was a perfect example of mediocrity at the worst possible time. Number 7. 1978 Dodge Aspen. When cost-cutting turns dangerous. 1430 to 1800. This wasn't just a bad car. It was a safety nightmare. The Dodge Aspen suffered from suspension failures, rear axle separation, structural rust. Some owners reported steering issues at highway speeds. Chrysler faced lawsuits, recalls piled up. The Aspen became a symbol of desperation. This car didn't just fail buyers, it endangered them. Number 6. 1975 Cadillac Seville. Luxury that aged like milk. The Seville promised modern luxury. What it delivered was complexity without reliability. Owners faced electrical failures, expensive repairs, early electronic systems that aged poorly. Luxury buyers weren't used to constant breakdowns. Repair bills were shocking. Dealership visits became routine. The Seville wasn't unreliable because it was advanced. It was unreliable because it was unprepared. Number 5. 1977 Pontiac Firebird. Muscle without muscle. The Firebird looked aggressive. It sounded powerful. But emissions regulations destroyed its soul. Horsepower collapsed. Acceleration slowed. Fuel economy still wasn't good. Owners realized the truth. They bought a performance car that performed worse than economy cars. This wasn't Pontiac's fault alone. It was the industry choking performance without fixing efficiency. Number 4. 1973 AMC Gremlin. Cheap in every way. The Gremlin wasn't misunderstood. It was exactly what it looked like. AMC cut costs everywhere. Ride quality, interior materials, safety. It was underpowered, awkward, and noisy. Owners tolerated it, not loved it. The Gremlin became the face of 1970s compromise, when manufacturers stopped trying to inspire. Number 3. 1972 Oldsmobile Cutlass, the beginning of the decline. The Cutlass used to mean quality. Then GM started cheapening everything. Buyers noticed interior wear, detuned engines, transmission issues. The Cutlass wasn't awful, but it marked the moment when GM's standards slipped. Loyal customers felt betrayed, and many never came back. Number 2. 1979 Chevrolet Camaro. The muscle car on life support. By the end of the decade, the Camaro was exhausted. Emissions strangled power. Weight increased. Driving excitement vanished. The Camaro survived because of its name, not because of performance. It was a muscle car in appearance only. Now with number 1. 1975 Ford Pinto. Corporate failure on wheels. The Ford Pinto is not just one of the most infamous cars of the 1970s. It became one of the most studied cases in automotive and business history. During the early 1970s, investigations and court cases revealed a serious design concern involving the Pinto's fuel system. In certain rear-end collisions, the placement of the fuel tank increased the risk of rupture and fire. According to publicly available court documents and reports from that period, Ford conducted internal cost-benefit analyses while responding to these safety concerns. Those documents later became widely discussed in legal, academic, and regulatory circles. As a result, the Pinto became the subject of lawsuits, recalls, and intense public scrutiny. The controversy surrounding the vehicle helped reshape how safety decisions were evaluated across the auto industry. What makes the Pinto's story so significant is not just the car itself, but how it changed conversations about corporate responsibility, consumer safety, and regulation. Today, the Ford Pinto is frequently referenced in textbooks and case studies as an example of how engineering decisions and corporate policies can have lasting consequences. The real legacy of the 1970s. The 1970s weren't just about muscle cars. They were about shortcuts, panic, and corporate survival. Some cars survived history, others survived nostalgia, but ownership tells the real story. If you want more brutally honest car history, subscribe, like, and comment what decade we expose next. Because legends are fun, but the truth matters more.